What is the greatest threat humanity faces today? Is it from those who actively wish to do us harm, or those who simply do and know any better? Dive into this complex moral dilemma with us. German philosopher Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, "Not only does stupidity commit evil as readily as malice, but it does many times more evil and leaves no room for repentance." So why is Bonhoeffer so convinced that stupidity poses a greater threat than evil? What makes stupidity more dangerous than evil? Let's look at a few points he makes in his writings to see what his argument was. Before we begin, please make sure to like and subscribe for more such videos. Also, be sure to stick around for our bonus section at the end of the video, where we will reveal how stupidity can be used as a weapon and how to defend yourself against it. Point 1. Stupidity lacks self-awareness. One of the key aspects of Bonhoeffer's argument is the idea that stupidity lacks self-awareness. Unlike malice, which stems from a conscious decision to inflict harm, stupidity operates without the foggiest notion of the damage it inflicts. A person driven by malice calculates means and ends, devising intricate plans to achieve their nefarious goals. On the other hand, a stupid individual acts oblivious to the harm they cause, often inflicting far greater damage than even the most malicious person could have imagined. This lack of awareness stems from a failure to confront reality. As Bonhoeffer wrote, "Stupidity has a fateful power. It does what it wants, and it doesn't ask for pardon afterwards." For instance, consider someone who insists on driving while intoxicated. The malicious drunk driver may calculate the odds of getting caught, considering the risks and consequences. However, the stupid drunk driver does not care about the potential harm it might cause to themselves or others, and will drive regardless. They are driven by a desire to keep partying and don't care about the consequences. Malice involves a deliberate choice to act despite knowing the potential consequences. Stupidity, however, goes beyond mere ignorance, denotes a willful refusal to acknowledge reality, and an insistence on acting based on false perceptions. Point 2. Stupidity lacks remorse. Another reason for Bonhoeffer's claim lies in the realm of accountability. Malice, when confronted with the consequences of their actions, may experience a sense of guilt or remorse, though they might try to justify or minimize their behavior. Stupidity, however, lacks this capacity for regret. As Bonhoeffer put it, stupidity is not teachable. A stupid person remains impervious to the suffering they inflict, incapable of learning from their mistakes and showing remorse. This lack of remorse stems from their inability to perceive the true nature of their actions. Back to the example of drunk driving, the malicious driver may feel a twinge of guilt after causing an accident, even if they attempt to downplay their role in it. The stupid driver, however, remains unmoved by the wreckage, incapable of understanding the gravity of the situation. This lack of remorse makes it difficult for stupid people to change their ways, as they are not open to feedback or willing to learn from their mistakes. Point 3. Stupidity is easily manipulated. While malice involves actively deceiving others, stupidity paves the way for manipulation. As Bonhoeffer observed, stupidity is more easily ruled by others than evil. Stupid individuals are susceptible to manipulation because they lack the insight to recognize when they are being exploited. This vulnerability makes them susceptible to propaganda and brainwashing tactics employed by those with malicious intent. For instance, consider a person who blindly trusts everything they see on social media. They may find themselves falling prey to fake news and propaganda without ever realizing it. Meanwhile, someone who is more discerning and aware of the biases and agendas present in online content would be less likely to be manipulated in the same manner. Stupidity, therefore, becomes a gateway through which malevolent forces can exploit and control individuals who are blissfully unaware of their own manipulation. Point 4. Stupidity leads to groupthink. Bonhoeffer recognized that stupidity can lead to a dangerous form of conformity known as groupthink. In his book, Life Together, he wrote, "No one can be completely bad, but everyone can be stupid." Groupthink occurs when a group of stupid people come together, each believing themselves to be smart, and end up making irrational decisions that none of them individually would have made. Each person within the group believes they are being rational and logical, but their collective stupidity results in a poor outcome. An example of this is the Bay of Pigs invasion during the Cuban Revolution. Many historians and political scientists attribute the failure of this invasion to groupthink. When planning the operation, the leadership failed to consider various critical factors, such as the strength of Fidel Castro's forces and the lack of support from the Cuban people. As a result, the invasion force was poorly prepared and ultimately doomed to fail. Despite the obvious flaws in the plan, nobody spoke up to challenge the idea, and groupthink prevailed. Point 5. Stupidity facilitates evil. While stupidity itself may not be directly evil, it often paves the way for evil to flourish. As Bonhoeffer stated, stupidity has a fateful power. It does what it wants, and it doesn't ask for pardon afterwards. Stupidity can create an environment where evil can thrive. For example, a stupid leader who refuses to listen to sound advice may lead their country into war, causing immeasurable suffering and destruction. Or a stupid individual who refuses to educate themselves on important social issues may perpetuate harmful stereotypes and contribute to a culture of prejudice and discrimination. In these instances, stupidity does not necessarily manifest as an active choice to do evil, but it creates a context where evil can take root and spread. Bonhoeffer's idea here is that stupidity can inadvertently facilitate or enable evil acts or systems to emerge and persist, allowing them to cause harm or injustice without facing sufficient opposition or accountability. Evil in this context refers not just to deliberate malevolence, but also to actions or outcomes that are harmful, unjust, or detrimental to individuals or society. In conclusion, Bonhoeffer's assertion that stupidity is more dangerous than evil challenges our conventional notions of morality and culpability. While we instinctively view evil as the greater threat, Bonhoeffer compels us to confront the dangers of ignorance and complacency. He highlights how stupidity, by refusing to acknowledge reality, lacking remorse, succumbing to manipulation and leading to groupthink, and facilitating evil, sets the stage for destruction. To combat this, Bonhoeffer calls for intellectual humility, a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, the courage to speak up against harmful ideas, and the continuous pursuit of knowledge and understanding. By embracing these principles, we can counter the insidious threat of stupidity and work towards creating a better world. And now for the bonus section of this video. As promised, how is stupidity used as a weapon? And how can you protect yourself from it? To understand how stupidity can be weaponized, let's delve deeper into the concept of propaganda, which was prevalent in the early 20th century. Propaganda is a deliberate attempt to influence public opinion, often through biased or misleading information. During World War II, both the Axis and Allied powers extensively used propaganda to sway public perception of the war. The Nazis, for instance, employed sophisticated propaganda techniques to promote their ideology, demonize their enemies, and maintain control over German citizens. They utilized various mediums, including posters, films, and rallies, to disseminate their messages. These propaganda campaigns were particularly effective in Germany, where widespread anti-Semitism and resentment towards the post-World War I political establishment had created a fertile ground for extremist ideas to take root. Through repetition and emotional appeals, the Nazi propaganda machine successfully cultivated a sense of national pride and loyalty, while inciting hatred and fear among the German population. Conversely, the Allied powers also engaged in extensive propaganda efforts aimed at undermining enemy morale and garnering support for their own war efforts. For example, the British Broadcasting Corporation launched a massive propaganda campaign targeting the German people. BBC radio broadcasts in German carried messages that highlighted the atrocities committed by the Nazi regime and emphasized the superiority of the British way of life. These broadcasts aimed to sow discord within German society and undermine support for the war effort. Similarly, the United States produced propaganda films that depicted the enemy, including the Japanese and the Germans, as ruthless and barbaric, aiming to galvanize public support for the war. In conclusion, the weaponization of stupidity lies in the deliberate exploitation of ignorance, prejudice, and emotion to manipulate public perception and behavior. By understanding the tactics used in propaganda and the historical context in which they emerged, we can better recognize and resist attempts to manipulate us through similar means today. How can you protect yourself from stupidity? Protecting yourself from stupidity involves cultivating a combination of critical thinking skills, intellectual humility, and a commitment to lifelong learning. Firstly, developing a habit of questioning information you encounter is crucial. Don't accept statements or arguments at face value, but dig deeper to evaluate the evidence and reasoning behind them. This may involve checking sources, considering alternative perspectives, and examining the motivations of those presenting the information. Secondly, embracing intellectual humility means acknowledging the limitations of your own knowledge and being open to changing your mind in light of new evidence or better arguments. It entails recognizing that you might be wrong and having the courage to admit it and adjust your views accordingly. Moreover, engaging in thoughtful dialogue with those who hold different opinions can help challenge your own assumptions and provide new insights. Finally, committing to lifelong learning by staying curious, reading widely, and being open to new ideas can equip you with the knowledge and perspectives necessary to navigate a world filled with information. Remember, protecting yourself from stupidity is an ongoing process that requires constant vigilance and a dedication to personal growth. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure to share it with your friends and family. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on this video. Do you agree with Bonhoeffer's assessment that stupidity poses a greater threat to society than evil? Why or why not? Your comments are valuable to us and our community, so please take a moment to share them below. If you're new here, consider subscribing to join our community of thinkers and learners. We release new videos every week, exploring a wide range of philosophical and ethical topics. Your support helps us continue producing engaging content that inspires thoughtful discussions like the one sparked by this video.